Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good people. Today is Saturday, February 10th, 2024. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Here we are in Pahrump, Department of Career Services, where we have a very simple goal to help you get from where you are to somewhere better. From point A to point B. That's it. From Someday Isle to Successlandia. Ignoring denial, overcoming denial, which is not a river, but it could be. So, how do we do it? Well, we do it through this podcast. That's the basic way we help you get from where you are to someplace better. And it's by helping you create a routine. A routine. Reporting for duty from the sick bay. What a bevy is here. Alternate voice, Maticus, is here. Good, both of you are here, so you know the routine, you know why we're here, you're making it part of your daily routine, making it part of your daily ritual, so then it becomes, you repeat it, becomes routine, you repeat that routine enough, it becomes a habit, unconscious behavior, so that when you don't do it, you don't feel good. You need to get to that point where you're missing something if you don't do it. That's it. That is the whole thing. However, we make it a little bit better by providing a worksheet that has all kinds of expert advice on it. All types of expert advice. It's very easy to grab, ingest, process, digest, process, go out and do it. Okay. Now, let's get started because I want to kind of try to keep these things short so I can get on the peloton, as I like to say. The peloton. It's not the plane. No, this is the peloton. The peloton. Hervé Villachet, I think that was his name. Okay. This is G.school, day number 9. I think it's G.school number 9. Correct. G.school number 9. What if Jesus was real? What if he was real? Okay, so along with that, I put a link to a show on Amazon Freebie or Freevee called Jesus the Game Changer. Very good, short, like 45-minute episodes. Really breaks it down with educated people talking about why/how this is real. And so our question today is, well, what if it is real? What if it is real? Are we going to change our lives if it is real? So before we do that, I want to acknowledge Matt had 90 days of no alcohol. I want to say that I, though, yesterday had 1 beer. No big deal. 1 beer. I'm not afraid of alcohol. I'm not saying you shouldn't be, Matt. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm not saying people should not be afraid of alcohol. I'm saying I'm not afraid of alcohol. And every once in a while, I will celebrate something. Not, oh, I had a rough day, I need alcohol. No, it's like, wow, good day, alcohol. A little bit of alcohol in commemoration and appreciation, or that would be a better word, in appreciation of my ancestors who enabled me to be here, and what enabled them to have me here was alcohol. Okay, because if we look at the Middle Ages, if we look at Europe in the last 1,000 years, they found that people were using the rivers as dumps, waste treatment. And the problem is there's always somebody upriver from you. So the water was not really often safe to drink. Add a little bit of alcohol, strain it, add a little bit of alcohol, kill the bacteria, kill the germs, and voila, you could drink without getting sick and dying. Okay, if you want to drink, that's on you. As for me, I've had enough of it for one lifetime. Good. That's the good attitude to have, Matt. That is a very good attitude to have. And okay, let's get back to today's thing. What if Jesus was real? And by real, I think that we have misinterpreted the Gospels, the Bible. And why? Well, because it's been passed down from generation pretty much intact. My belief would be that if somebody from the year 1300 came along, a priest, because there was only the Catholic Church, well, there was the Eastern Orthodox and the Roman Catholic Church. Somebody from those churches came along today, and we didn't have an English barrier, and we were talking about the Gospels and the New Testament, who Jesus was in the Bible and our creation story. I think they would agree. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So it's been passed down for 1800, 1700, 1600 years, where the teacher, the priest, teaches the next generation, teaches the next generation, teaches the next generation. And that system worked before we had writing. You tell a story or you say something, you repeat it, and people learn it and they repeat the same thing. So I think we've been making some mistakes. So if we start from the Bible is true, but we've misunderstood it, we've misinterpreted it. And so we take away the confusion. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and just say that was the Creator, that the universe was created by one or more intelligent entities, which we will just refer to as Creator. And if the universe was made of, or if the Creator was pure energy, maybe the quantum field, maybe coming out of the quantum field, pure energy, made matter, universe came into existence. And then, as I said, I think last week, there's one thing the Creator cannot do, and that is experience what it's like to be what it's created until it has created the thing. Today, Christians will say, God has a plan. He knows what you're going to do. He knew what you were going to do before you were even in the womb. That's not the same as saying he was able to experience your life. Couldn't experience it until you were alive, especially if you have free will. He might know what you're going to do. Yeah, he was going to do it, blah, 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 but he can't experience it until it actually happens. Because if he's able to experience it before it happens, that means it happened when he experienced it. And then you get into this all kinds of crazy time loop problems. The very simple thing is to say the Creator created the universe. Why? Well, perhaps perhaps the creator / creators wanted to experience what it was like to be matter. Because if it was the quantum field, not quite matter, right? So it creates matter and then evolves over time to subatomic particles, atomic particles, elements, etc., all the way up. And so finally the Creator says, I'm going to be incarnate. Everybody who's a Christian believes that Jesus was the Creator, was God incarnate, right? This is God incarnate. So let's just leave it. The Creator became incarnate. If the Creator who created the universe became incarnate, would the Creator be able to do miracles? Of course. He could bring people back to life, feed 4,000 people, do whatever the Creator wanted, because the Creator created the universe, created matter in the first place. So it's not really a big deal for the Creator to do that. Whereas the skeptics will say, well, that violates the law of physics. Well, who created the laws of physics? The Creator, right? So could the Creator temporarily step outside the laws of physics to bring somebody back to life? Yeah. Right. Now, so let's go to that. So let's go to the question. What if Jesus was real? Because I just gave you a plausible explanation of how it could be true in very short, condensed things. So just assume that's true. And let's just assume, well, what if Jesus was real? And he said, here's what I want you to do. It's just two simple things. Love God with all your heart. Love your neighbor love your brother as I have loved you. Love one another as I have loved you. And you do it. What if it was, if you don't do it, what if it was this? If you do that, your reward is you're going to be one with the Father and I, which is pure energy or the quantum field. That's what you're going to be. If you don't, you're going to be in the lake of fire, which could mean you're going to be returned to energy. Your spirit, your you, who you were before, is going to either, if you do what I ask you to do, you're going to be one with the Father and I. You'll be pure energy. Otherwise, you're going to go back into the lake of fire, meaning you're going to be turned back into matter or some kind of baryonic. Yeah, you'll be turned back into matter. And what would be better? So that kind of pulls in the whole Hindu reincarnation thing, right? What would you do if it was, if you follow these things, you're going to go to the next step, you're going to be one with the Father and I, or you're going to return to baryonic state. Your energy, of course, we know the body is going to return, right, to the earth, whatever, be reconstituted into other forms of matter. It's going to break down, become something else. And our spirit will, the energy that we have, is going to be turned back into some other form of baryonic substance. You're not going to go on to the Father, to be one with the Father and be one with the creators. If you believe that, would you act differently? If you believe that, would you act differently? Walk on water. Right, that would be another example of breaking the laws of physics, which the Creator can do. But if you believe that the Creator, if you believe that Jesus was real, what would you do? Would you do what he said? And if you did what he said, how would that change your life? Would the chase of material things, right, what about the, right, would the pursuit of material things cease? Would you get like, it's not really important to have the best car, to have the biggest house, to have the most money in the bank? That stuff is not important. What about the widows and orphans? Okay, so how would you become more godly? Would you just help the widows and orphans? So again, I have a link to this series, Jesus the Game Changer, and it's really compelling because it said, 2,000 years ago, let's say 1700 years ago, 2000 years ago, the most powerful thing in the world was the Roman Empire. And the Christians were nothing, let's say in the first century AD. The year 100, the Christians were nothing. It was just a group of people who were helping each other out, who believed that their teacher was God, was the Son of God. Fast forward 2,000 years, Christianity is everything, and the Roman Empire is something you read about in history books. Or another thing they say in there is Christianity has shaped the world as we know it. Western civilization is shaped by that, and Nero is what you call your dog. Something that was that powerful. What would you have thought 2,000 years ago? Let's just roughly say 2,000 years ago. I know it wasn't 2,000 years ago, but say roughly 2,000 years ago. You have the Roman Empire, you have the Christians, you have Jesus. What would you have thought would have lasted 2,000 more years? Right? Especially when Jesus died, he died the most lowly thing of any kind of prophet. Right? Didn't have a big following, didn't have anything. So what happened? So the show starts out asking that question. A lot of people, how is it possible that something that was nothing, from a teacher who didn't write anything down, didn't have a big following, didn't have a lot of money, didn't have stuff, how is it possible that that thing, if it wasn't true, evolved to what it did, whereas the Roman Empire that controlled everything disappeared? And it partially, or to some extent, disappeared because of the Christians. The Christian idea overtook it. So some examples of what Christianity did: hospitals were started by Christianity, the concept of public schools, the idea of helping people who are not part of your family is all very Christian. And when you put Christians against Hindus and the caste system, it's a very, very, very different thing, because in the caste system, as it explains in, I think, episode number 3, you're born into this caste and you accept it. And somebody in a higher caste, they're not going to help you. In fact, if you try to get out of your caste, you are breaking the holy text. You're fighting against karma. You can't allow it. Cannot allow it. So Christianity was a very unique thing. And the people who started it were just average guys. So how is it possible that something that eventually, pretty quickly, took over the world, how is it possible that something like that occurred from a story that was just made up? Okay, we'll pick that up tomorrow. What a bevy. We all have castes. You can call it IQ and affinity. Well, you don't have to, it doesn't matter whether you accept your IQ or not. It is what it is, right? Bing, bing, bing. You can accept your IQ or not. It is what it is. The thing about caste, one of the examples they give is there was an untouchable. So there's like 4 levels above untouchable and 3,200 levels of untouchable, is what it says. And there was a guy who became a doctor that was an untouchable, and the caste system above that would not accept that he was able to become a non-untouchable, to become a doctor, where he was touching people, examining people, having women take their clothes off. So they beat him up, and they called the government in and said, we're not going to help you, we're not going to vote for you, we're not going to support you next time around because you are letting an untouchable be a doctor in treating people in a caste, the higher caste, the 4 higher castes. And so the government backed down, had the guy beat up and thrown in prison. And the point was, Christians are the opposite of that. itsy body quality. Anyway, let's call it quits for today. We'll move on till tomorrow. Wada bevy, I'll give you a call at some point in time. Boom.